Hello, welcome to the Digital Prosperity Podcast with me, Will Williamson, and David Roberts. Dave, how are you?
Very good, Will. Hello to all our listeners as well. Hope they're all having a good time in their businesses out there.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. Topic of this week's show is Strava. So I'm going to throw this over to you, Dave, and ask you, as a Strava user, what has Strava got to do with marketing?
You know, I bet there's a lot of people wondering that exact thing right now. But before I get to it, let me just take everybody on a little journey. So on Sunday, I'm out on my bike. I'm going for one of my best times ever, over 30 miles. I'm training for a sportive in April. So to get up these hills, I need to do the mileage. Stay with me, Will. I'm getting to the point.
I hear a lot about Dave cycling, so sometimes when he talks about it, I switch off.
yeah, it's riveted, really. So I get back home, Will, and I get the Strava app up. Why do I do that? Now, for any sporty bike people out there, cyclists, that's the word I'm thinking of, cyclists
Sporty bike people.
and runners, but just people who engaged in
We
sport.
prefer to be known as sporty running people.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dear me. The way you get better is if you're training for a marathon or you're training for a sportive like I am, is by knowing how long a distance is taking. So I get Strava out with cycling. I'm just getting into cycling now. And it's really, really scientific. So for everyone out there, FTP is functional threshold power. You need to know that so that you can pace your distance. You also need to know your cadence, so that helps you know that you're going at the right speed and you're turning the pedals in the right way. And so I get back to Strava, and Strava segments in 5 miles. That's how I've got it set up. So I know all this information for every aspect of that ride that day. So now I'm taking that information and I'm going to apply it to the same distance on the same route. And the aim is to do every segment a little bit quicker. And what Strava does, if you succeed, it gives you a little PR, gives you a little cup and lets you know that you've done so well. If you haven't succeeded, it registers the time. But it also tells you all the other times that you've done it, so you can see where you need to make improvements. When we talk to business owners, Will, not many of them are measuring their marketing.
No.
Just like they would. There'll be people listening now in business who have got marketing activity and not measuring it in the same way as they would measure how they're functioning on a bike or swimming, triathlon or running, whatever it may be. If you're going to improve anything, you've got to measure it. So why are people engrossed in Strava, but they're not doing the same thing in their business? And when we talk to people, one of their challenges is, why should I invest in marketing when I've invested in it previously, but I haven't had a return for my investment? And we explained that in order to know how you're going to get your ROI, it's all about measuring the KPIs. Would you not agree, Will?
Yeah, what Strava shows is that the data's there. And I think when you first start looking at things like Google Analytics or HubSpot, is the platform we use for our marketing data, there's all kinds of different ways of measuring your marketing results. If you're not familiar with it, it can be quite confusing. But I bet when you started using Strava, you weren't looking at FTP, but you would have started maybe by just minutes per mile or whatever. And then as you've got more familiar with it, you've gone into it deeper and deeper and deeper over time.
Absolutely, Will. And not only that, but the link with Strava and today's marketing is that what's brilliant is that Strava got all the information from my Garmin device that's on my bike. So today, the manufacturers, including Apple with the health app, there's a website called Training Peaks. There's Zwift that you can do indoor training with, and they're all linking together so that you can take the data from whatever you use, whatever platform you're using, you can take the data and use it to improve your fitness so that you succeed at your chosen sport more effectively. And that's how today's marketing going into the 21st century. It's here now, and this is what the small to medium-sized business owner should be paying attention to. How they're going to use digital marketing in the right way to get the return on investment and to get the customers that we all deserve.
Yeah, and just like the example that you gave with the various different devices connecting to a central place, with marketing, you can have data coming in from all kinds of different places, from your social media accounts, from beacons if you've got a brick and mortar business, from mobile apps, from various different websites. You can connect your marketing analytics information, your email information to your sales CRM system and keep all the data together. In exactly the same way, you can now connect several different data sources so that you can see the whole picture and see what's going on and make it easy to do it. Just like becoming a more effective cyclist, becoming as a business a more effective marketing business. It's all about measuring and tracking your KPIs and doing a little bit better every time and gradually improving bit by bit over a period of time and seeing big improvements over a year, but small improvements between each week or each month, right?
Yeah, and that goes back to the point, marketing an expense or is it an investment?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, marketing is an expense before it becomes an investment. Any investment that you put money into, or property, whatever it may be, if we just stick with property, there's a risk that property can go down in value, back up and down, but over time, you always win with property. And marketing's exactly the same. If you invest in it in the right way, yes, it can be an expense, but over the right period of time, it always works out to be an investment that you can cash in on. And that's the message I really want our listeners to grab hold of, Will. Because if we can do it in a sporting world with Strava and everything that comes with it, you can absolutely do it in the business world and everything that comes with business. Now, why is it that today, Will, when all this information is out there, why are our business owners not clamouring to make their life easier and make their profits grow year on year by getting into digital marketing the way that they should, do you think?
There's a lot of noise out there and that causes confusion and it can be hard to know who to trust. There's also a lot of jargon, so it's a bit like take your car in, you don't really know the inner workings of a car. It's hard to know if the person there is telling you the truth or not, and I think people have that when it comes to marketing. And I also think that in the UK anyway, people's expectations around marketing are that they see it almost like a fruit machine. Money goes in, you should get money out straight away. And as you've described very nicely there, it's something that you invest in over time. You don't necessarily, people tend to chase the short-term rewards, and occasionally you get lucky just like you do in the fruit machine, and then you're forever then chasing that one thing that worked rather than doing things consistently bit by bit over a long period.
Brilliant. Well, I totally agree. Here's my point to that. You know, I like that phrase, predictable marketing, because if you take on board what we're talking about today, then marketing then does become predictable and you know exactly what result you're going to get if you put your money or your activities in certain areas, because you spent the time measuring it. You know there's a very high probability that you'll get the return in the right way, in the right time frame, and it becomes less of a gamble. And how do you do that? Well, you mentioned about companies, and I'm not knocking any company out there in any shape or form, but it's up to us as business owner to be more strategic and less tactical. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I do. And give you an example, I was training for a Nottingham half marathon this year. Not very well, might I add.
Yeah, he's not as fast as me.
In training for it, I went for a run one Sunday afternoon, and I came back feeling, God, that was hard work. I'm not making progress here. I am not in good shape. And that's how I felt finishing the run. And I use a different app, but I checked my tracking app, and I'd actually run faster over the same distance than I had the previous week. I'd done better, and it showed that I was actually improving. And that is where the value of tracking and measuring your data is. It helps take the emotional, the feeling out of it, helps take the unknown out of it, and you can see yourself making little improvements over time.
I totally agree, Will, and that's a good analogy. There's so many of us investing in marketing in one shape or form or another without really knowing if it's going to produce the result that we're looking for. And it's almost like, hopefully, this should turn out for us. And that's why I think it's really important, this podcast, that we talk about how going into 2019, how data-driven marketing that 20 years ago would have been difficult for a small to medium-sized business owner to get hold of, but now is at their fingertips, and it's cost-effective. And if you invest in just the knowledge of what platforms can do for you now, you don't even have to go out and say, I'm going to go in wholesale, this is where I'm going. Just get the knowledge first. That will take you on the path that you want to know more, and it's going to help you. And what's brilliant about this data-driven world we're going into is that you don't have to be an expert at SEO. You don't have to be an expert of social media. You don't need to be an expert of Google Analytics. You just need to be able to understand the data. And these companies, especially HubSpot, produce it so easily for us, Will.
So, in conclusion, track your data, treat your marketing almost like you were training for something, and see the incremental improvements over time, and use the measurements to analyse what you're doing and make improvements to your regime. And you'll achieve things that you didn't expect to achieve.
Absolutely. And look into the platforms that can help you do that. And if you see me going through Derby on my bike, just give me a wave.
Yes. Take it easy around those country roads. Don't drive too fast. You might run into Dave. And on behalf of all of our listeners, we wish you luck in your sporting.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will.
And thanks for listening. See you very soon.
Bye.